North and South Korean naval patrol boats have exchanged fire near their disputed Yellow Sea border. It was the latest in a series of similar clashes near Yeonpyeong Island, which was bombed by the North in 2010, resulting in the deaths of 4 people. Well, we can now speak to Dr. Robert Kelly, Professor of International Relations at South Korea's Pusan National University. Many thanks for speaking to us on World News. Tell us what happened.
Well, we're still learning the initial operational details. That will come out in much greater detail in the next few days. But it looks like the North crossed what's called the Northern Line Limit, which is the name for the border in the Yellow Sea between the two Koreas. South Korea has a standing policy of shooting at North Korean ships, warships that cross, and it looks like a patrol ship crossed. This has happened before. It will happen again. I think it's important now because it happened the day after the big talks. That's why I think it's going to get a lot of press.
You mentioned that it has happened before. 2010 is the date that we just mentioned, with 4 people losing their lives in that incident. Why is are these incidents happening so often? Why is this area so disputed?
Sure. When the war ended, the 1950 war, when the war ended in 1953, the North Koreans had no naval presence. And so the Americans and the South Koreans basically drew the naval border in the Yellow Sea very close to the North Korean coast. And the North Koreans have always rejected that and said that it was unfair, that the border should be drawn differently. There are islands that are very close to North Korea's coast that are actually controlled by the South. And so the border the border to the, to the east, or the west, pardon me, has never been accepted the way the border to the east has in the water. And so the North has continually prodded and pushed. And there have been shootouts before, not just 2010. There was one, I think, in 2002. And so this keeps coming up because the two Koreas just don't agree on where the line in the water is.
When you say there have been shootouts, are they literally shooting directly at each other, or are they shooting into the sea near each other?
Both. The North Koreans often conduct missile tests and artillery tests and sort of other provocative some tests of various kinds, firings of various kinds in the Yellow Sea in order to sort of demonstrate that the line is up for dispute. And then sometimes when their boats cross over, the South Koreans actually respond. And sometimes they actually have shot at each other. In one case, trying to remember, I believe a North Korean boat was actually sunk, and something like 15 North Koreans died and a couple of South Koreans did. I mean, sometimes it genuinely is a real shoot up between the two ships and they call in air power and the whole thing gets all, everyone gets nervous.